This lesson goes along with Roman numeral 5A in the Honors Chemistry Notes packet, naming compounds. So when naming an ionic compound, you want to name the cation using a Roman numeral if needed to indicate the charge, and then name the anion. Let's talk about when we need a Roman numeral to indicate the charge. Remember from our periodic table that all the alkaline metals get a +1 charge. Alkaline earth metals get a +2. If we come over here to this side of the periodic table, we recently added silver as +1, zinc and cadmium as +2, and this column as +3. We skipped over this down here, which would be lead and tin, and we skipped over the other transition metals that were not these three. So those need a Roman numeral because we don't know their charge and we have to indicate it by giving them a Roman numeral. So they need a Roman numeral if a transition metal or metal in the carbon group, not silver, cadmium, and zinc. So once we name the cation, including a Roman numeral if necessary, then we name the anion. Polyatomic anions are just named as they are from the list. Single atoms that form anions, so these would be our nonmetals, right, are named with what kind of an ending? IDE. We've talked about that a few times. Okay, let's look at some examples. This first one, ALP, what's the cation? That would be aluminum. Does aluminum need a Roman numeral? No, aluminum's always +3, so it doesn't. Now let's name the anion. The nonmetal phosphorus becomes phosphide. Let's move on to the second example. The name of the cation is cobalt. Does cobalt need a Roman numeral? Absolutely. Cobalt number 27 is right in the middle of the periodic table. So how do I know that Roman numeral? What I have to do is I have to go and look at that formula and figure out, before I cross the charges, what was cobalt's charge? Okay, if I think about it, iodine's -1, that's why there's really no subscript down here by cobalt in the formula. For there to be a 3 here, cobalt has to be +3. Therefore, it needs to be cobalt Roman numeral 3, iodide. Again, I'm going to put an IDE ending. Okay, how about this third one? Cesium. Does it need a Roman numeral? As an alkaline metal, cesium is always +1, no Roman numeral needed. What's the anion? Oxide. Okay, this next one, lithium. Does it need a Roman numeral? No. How about the anion? Now notice there's still 2 elements left, carbon and nitrogen. Ionic compounds only have 2 parts to them, so if I see 2 elements, that must mean it's a polyatomic ion. Okay, if you flip it over, you should see Cn, if you didn't remember, is cyanide. How about this next one? We actually have 2 polyatomic ions here. Ammonium, our only positive polyatomic ion, and what is left is the C2O4. That would be oxalate. Last example, iron. Does it need a Roman numeral? It sure does. Can you figure it out? Pause and try. It must be a +3 to have this 3 down here after the ClO3. So that's iron, Roman numeral 3, and what is that polyatomic ion? That is chlorate. Okay, now I want you to get out the 7-3 practice problems and try problems 1, 2, and 6. Pause the video here and then you can check to see if you have the right answers. Here they are. Hope you did them right. If you didn't, come see me for some help.